So this is my conversation with Shane. It only goes back to July 9th, 2020, where I shared him a fursuit pie, and then he shared back a cat, and I shared family photos because he wanted to know. And I shared him this TikTok, and then he liked it, and then I shared some more information that he asked for. And then he said LOL, and I shared recipes because he said he couldn't cook. And then he sent me something that was in a group that got deleted. Then he said he was going to give me money, and that never happened. Then he showed me a gun. Then I sent him something else, and then he sent me something else. This is the complete chat log all the way up until he blocked me. That's when I broke my finger, and I had an MRI for the first time. And yes, I had to skip all the way to here. Now I'm just going up from current to backwards. And anything I bought him, he agreed to it. Anything he verbally says, he agrees to, even though he doesn't mean it. It's an old photo of Patsy and Evelyn. This is going to be too big to put on Twitter or what's called X, so it's going up on my secondary YouTube channel, which is basically this YouTube channel. But it doesn't matter now, does it? So during 2023, I had no phone. Zero phone. All because mine got broke and smashed. I had zero. Which is when this problem occurred. Don't call this number. It doesn't work anymore. I didn't pay that phone bill. And usually when he called, I did answer. And when I called him, he wouldn't answer. I know, it's so boring. He had that 3D printer for about 3 years. He only had it for 3 years. He never tried to use it or anything. Shane never pays anyone back. Shane never does. And when I asked him to draw his own thing, he couldn't draw his own thing. And then he continued to suggest he needed more knives. He was constantly talking to people about money and problems because he doesn't have control over his bank account. And yes, that's something I carved out of old foam, but it got tossed in the garbage can, unfortunately. That's something I drew. It's when we got a quote for something. Blech. Everything that I've shown him has been stuff that he asked to see or asked to view. Only stuff coming from his side is what he did. And no, I wasn't ignoring any of his phone calls. I was either asleep, at the doctor, and I didn't care if I was on the phone with him on the toilet. The only 2 rules I asked him was, can you not eat on camera with me because I will want it too? And then the other one was nothing. I didn't ask for anything else besides reminder. 1 reminder. That's it. That's all I asked for. When he asked, I provided. That's him talking about a Masonic meeting or just something to do with a friend. That's Patsy. Yes, Patsy's a real dog. A lot of things I shared were from TikTok. That's him. He said he needed a loan. He kept pretending he was a repair shop. But he wasn't. It was his friends that were a repair shop. This is where we were looking for properties or something. That's eBay stuff that I showed him and asked him if he wanted because he said he needed. The turtle stuff was for Natasha's birthday. Yeah. And I was showing him different techniques on how to 3D print stuff, sending him links to places to 3D print stuff. I kept suggesting that his job was to 3D print stuff out instead of fix it, just print it out and mail it off to the correct people. And yes, he would just call me, sit on the PlayStation, and I'd look at the phone just to talk to him, and he's sitting there on the PlayStation 24 hours. Like he had something to do. And he said, "Oh, I can draw that. I can paint this." He said he could. And every time I sent him files or something, he just said, "Oh yeah, I'll take a look at it later." "Oh yeah, I can do that." "Oh yeah." This is exactly what normal people talk about. Ordering stuff for each other, physically being there, or being there with money if they have it. You know, just like the song Talking About Me by my good friend Toby Keith. But that's basically the issue. Is he would ask me to find something, and then I'd provide him with the information, and then I ask him if I should buy this, and he would either agree with me or not agree with me. And then he would ask me if he has. I am in control of his bank account. He asked me if I had any money to pay for his medication, which he said he needed. He ain't a KIT boga problem. And then I'd ask him about his friends and other issues. And he wants to know what's always in stuff that I'm sending him or he's receiving. And half the time he wasn't interested in anything I was talking about or sending him. 0%, how guys always are. Oh, and Shane Lewis told me he was a lightweight to begin with. Of course, this phone decides to do that for no reason. Now, I didn't click on anything, it just decided to do that for no reason. I'm having issues with the phone and it should not be overheating. I have to scroll all the way back through 2023 with Shane Lewis. I told him exactly what I was looking for. He asked me how to spell stuff because he can't spell stuff. It called him by accident. I didn't touch anything. All I was doing was scrolling. And no, I didn't paint these this color. It was already here when I moved in. I never suggested him get a gun. I never suggested him getting a ghost gun or printing out a gun or getting the orbital cannon or Black Widow or anything like that. That was all out of his own mouth and own issues. You're telling me I don't answer the phone? Well, guess what? It's ringing on 2 different devices. I would ask him about his medical health, and then he would respond with, "Oh, yeah, I have chronic diarrhea and blood. Oh, yeah, I have type 2 diabetes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah." Yeah, I was responding to those types of questions in the background. What camera do you think Pearl walks around with when it's not her cell phone? And yeah, I am well aware that I need to update my TikTok about information that Shane Lewis thought was still correct because he thinks he's a Freemason. And you marry a Freemason, you become an Eastern Star, unless your father was already one. So it doesn't matter. And that organization is for the government only.